We are back, everybody, on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS. It's the Gazette Radio Hour. Doug and John, the radio digest version of the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classifieds for all you need to know to be in the know. And we have with us the author, the former Green Beret, Robert Patrick Lewis. And we're talking about the movie American Sniper. Robert, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you kind of a personal question. If you don't want to answer it, we'll understand. But, you know, you wrote about all the psyche problems you went through and how many soldiers. How are you doing today? How is this? Is this still with you today? Or, you know, is it something that's on your mind all the time?
It's something that never completely goes away. But unfortunately, I think it's definitely misunderstood by most of society because a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, even a lot of books kind of mischaracterize what PTSD really is and how it affects you. It affects everybody different. Everybody's affected differently. I teach this course at the VA where in my writing class, we have about a dozen guys. We have people represented from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, a lot of Vietnam guys, Somalia, some Desert Storm guys, and then I'm the only Iraq-Afghanistan guy that's there. Everybody's affected a little bit differently. Some of those guys are in their 60s, some much older, and it's been with them their entire life. Some guys, you know, have certain things that set them off. I get very annoyed when I hear repetitive, loud, annoying sounds. Yeah. But it's just like anything else. You just got to work on it. And thankfully, there's been a lot of movement to kind of understand it after Iraq and Afghanistan really got bad. And so the West Los Angeles VA, where I go, they have a thing called the Post Clinic that's run by a woman, Leslie Martin, that I met when I first moved out here to Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And she's an amazing person. She's been doing this. It's the longest-running PTSD clinic in the country. Wow. She's had it open since the 70s when guys started coming back from Vietnam and started getting pretty messed up. And they've been doing this for a very long time, so they know what they're doing. And it's like anything else, as long as you are willing to do the work, and you do the work, and you work on yourself, and you're able to go and talk to somebody, and actually talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing, and understands you and can be empathetic, there's a lot that can be done. You know, but it's those people that are kind of stick in the mud that won't go talk to people, that just become a recluse and kind of barricade themselves inside the house.
Exactly.
That's when it starts to get pretty bad.
Right.
But thankfully, you know, and that's why we do the writing therapy class. You know, there's a lot of guys, we're military, stiff upper lip kind of guys, don't like to talk about it. But being able to write it is very therapeutic as well.
Interesting. Hey, Robert, we want to switch gears now, if we may. Talk about a current event, what's going on with ISIS and the Marine base. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so you know, it's been in the news a lot for the last couple of days. There's 300 Marines that are at Al Asad Air Base in Iraq, where I actually spent a little bit of time there, and they were there training some of the Iraqi military guys. And so ISIS has been saying on their Twitter feed that they have surrounded them. So they've been moving in for the last couple of days, and now they say they have this base fully surrounded.
Yeah, I thought it was suicide bombers that were surrounding them, though, wasn't it?
No, it's. I think they actually have a fighting force.
Okay, I thought I heard something today about suicide bombers.
I'm sure there's some of that in there. Yeah. I mean, that's their MO. That's how they do it. You know, that's a big part of their plan. So, but I think it's both. They probably have a wave of bombers, and they also have.
Yeah, it's interesting. What did you think of President Obama's pseudo declaration of war, or we're allowed to use force type referendum thing?
I can't pay attention to that guy anymore. You know, like I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. You know, like he only takes action when I think his hand is forced. Well, you know what I mean? And that's kind of a bad place to be as a commander-in-chief. The King of Jordan is doing combat sorties right now, demolishing everybody he can associated with ISIS.
Yeah.
And our guy was doing everything he could to free as many of their prisoners as he could.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I get the. I mean, for me, fundamentally, okay, well, gee, who declares war? The Congress. All right, fine. That's not really effective anymore. The Constitution grows beyond that, and we have executive war powers. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. I can understand that. It's a growing, living, breathing document. Got it. Cool. Pass that. What I don't like is, however, you know, we're going to authorize the use of force. However, it's only going to be this. Doesn't that tie your hands as anybody in the field of operations?
Well, so there's a very good. No, it's kind of good. It's kind of bad. He uses a lot of legalese. He uses a lot of loopholes, a lot of terminology. You know, there are certain things that aren't war. Vietnam wasn't a war. It was defined as a police action, right? Yeah. So you can kind of wiggle your way around the wording of that. Now, a thing that's about special operations, you know, you have overt and you have covert operations. Overt, sending in, you know, Marines, sending in the infantry, sending in all these guys. Covert, sending in guys like us. We're there, so you can kind of deny, right? So anytime you hear somebody say, we're just going to send in planes, and we're going to do bombing missions, but we won't have soldiers or boots on the ground. This is exactly what he said about Libya. That right there is a paradox in and of itself, because our rules of engagement state, to drop any ordinance, you have to have eyes on target. You have to actually PID. You got to personally identify a target. An American has to do it. In special forces, we do a lot of intelligence stuff. So we have sources. We can't even have sources PID. One of us, one of the Green Berets has to be there, personally saying, "I see him. There's the bad guy.
Jeez.
Fire for effect."
Oh my gosh.
So whenever you hear this, just know he's lying. That's the great thing about special operations is he can say, "We're not going to send this in. We're not going to send in troops. We want no boots on the ground, no lethal aid." Anytime there's ordnance being dropped or there's something going out, there is some special operations or clandestine operators there.
Hey, Robert, real quick, because we're up against the clock, what do you think should happen to the situation with ISIS and the Marines? What do you think will happen? What should happen?
So there's this guy, Chesty Puller. If you know anything about the Marine Corps, he's like a demigod of the Marines.
Yeah, I know.
He has a great saying. All right, they're on our left, they're on our right, they're in front of us, they're behind us. They can't get away this time. And that right there just exemplifies Marines. I got a couple buddies that are Marine Corps. A few fundamentals in life. If you want to have a long, happy life, don't spit into the wind. Don't step on Superman's cape. Do not piss off the Marines.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how they handle it. It's going to be a bloodbath, but hey, go get them, boys.
All right, Robert Patrick Lewis, thank you so much. In your book, The Pact. I keep forgetting.
Really? The Pact?
I keep wanting to say The Stand. I don't know why.
I'm going to pre-order it.
Anyway.
Well, my publishers, they don't like pre-orders. They have some issues. So it'll be up on Tuesday. It should be on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, tactical16.com, thepactbook.com, and anywhere you can find books.
All right, Robert Patrick Lewis, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Robert. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. You're listening to Gazette Radio with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. We'll be back probably to argue about sports.
This off-the-air stuff's out of control, you guys. Anyway, Santa Cruz hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS, the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. Usually this time, John, we have Mr. Sports.
But it's February.
What happened, Mr. Sports?
We gave Mr. Sports the day off because
there's no sports.
There's no sports.
Wait, there's nothing. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
But,
there is some stuff. I mean, February's a bad month.
Let me ask you this, John.
Okay, fine.
These people had a bad month.
Well, go through them one at a time.
Yeah, I'm going to. You ready?
Who
Who had a rougher month? Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Brian Williams?
Or no. We're gonna do this. Is gonna be.
Oh, you want to do one at a time?
We're doing a March Madness. Pete Carroll, he had a bad month, really. Let's review, shall we? He gets paid a boatload of money to coach a football team. That's a game. It's a sport. He made a really dumb bonehead.
But it affected him emotionally.
I'm sure
he had a rough month.
So
okay.
I'm sure he's over it. Somewhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's not at recruiting.
He makes what, $5-6 million a year?
Probably closer. Yeah, exactly.
How about Brian Williams? NBC
Williams,
News.
He's had a rough go of it. Although he probably has cured cancer by now, and has probably the whole ISIL thing that's probably been resolved because Brian Williams got involved. He met the Pope,
I know something. He was standing with Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think he was responsible for building the entire New Jersey Turnpike as well.
How about Suge Knight? What is that how you say his name?
Suge.
Knight. Suge Knight.
He's just a despicable human being.
But he's having a rough month.
He's having a rough month.
Okay.
Yeah, he's having a rough month.
I mean, they won't let him out of jail. That's kind of
They
rough.
shouldn't.
Okay.
Well, they did because he had some problems.
Right. What about Bill Cosby?
He's having a rough life right now, but I don't think February was that particularly bad for him. I think November, December, January, and February were bad for him.
But he's having a rough time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
There were drugs in that pudding.
Now, I tell you a guy that's having a rough month.
Let me slip something into your pudding. Pudding.
You know what my favorite thing that Bill Cosby ever did was Fat Albert.
Yeah.
Hey, I love to play tackle.
That sounds like Wolfman Jack.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, we're trying to get through this bit.
We have so
here,
much
John.
talent.
John, we got to get through this bit.
We have so much talent.
This guy's having a real rough month.
Who's this?
Bruce Jenner.
This guy? Notice. No, wait a minute. I just thought about this. Did you notice? As soon as he came out and told he was changing into a woman, he got into a car accident.
Yeah.
What does that say about women drivers?
Oh, did you see the
Think about it, though.
Did you see the Breakfast of Champions?
Yes, I did see that.
T-Cats is mad at you.
That was the first thing that they changed.
When they had they showed him the cover on the box of Wheaties in '76 when he won the gold medal, and then now they show him on
the box of Fruit Loops. Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think that's exactly, they inserted the I can't drive gene, and he gets into a car accident. Okay. That was part of the transformation surgery.
You're gonna get us in trouble here. Anyway, what about somebody else? It's a group of guys having a real rough month. The Lakers.
Oh, yeah, don't even start with the Lakers. They need to understand something. Welcome to reality Los Angeles, okay? You have Kobe Bryant who's not playing. That is your only bargaining chip. You've overpaid for him for years. You are not going to be relevant. People don't want to come here. The NBA right now likes super teams, okay? Teams where 2 or 3 players, superstars, can get together and try to win championships. LA is no longer that destination. Wake up. It's time to either change ownership, which I think is a great idea, put Jeannie Buss in charge, or maybe even change the general manager.
Yep, I think you're right. Yee! All right, and what about...
I'm so not my aunt.
Last but not least, has he had a rough month, Barack Obama?
Oh, really, Doug? He's had a rough... he's had a rough month.
All right, let's review. We got to pick one who had the roughest month. You ready? Pete Carroll, Brian Williams, Suge Knight,
Brian Williams.
Bill Cosby, Bruce Jenner, the Lakers, or Barack Obama?
I think Brian Williams. Although Barack Obama is a close second because it's not that he did anything wrong. It's just he got shown up by a king.
But let me ask you this. Of all these guys, which one doesn't even realize they had a bad month?
Oh, well, Brian Williams is going to lie about having a bad month.
But do you think Mr. Obama even has a clue he had a bad month?
We're back on Obama? Really, Doug?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. He couldn't. You know?
Does the Secret Service park out in front of your street?
There was a car there last night.
I'm just saying. Maybe it's the Secret Service.
So you're saying I need to lay off?
Well, I think that there's criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. There's constructive criticism. Okay.
Your point?
Which is, hey, Doug, maybe don't do Wolfman Jack anymore. It wasn't that good. All right.
And here's mine. It's time to go.
It's not time to go. It's not time to go at all. We still have a minute. Okay? So back off. Because that's constructive criticism. Then there's criticism.
I don't handle criticism.
Doug, you're
well.
a bad person. Okay? And then there's like over-the-top stuff where everyday fixation criticism is what I would call it.
I can't help it. I'm obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, well, no, you're also a patriot. I get that. But I think that there's great. He's not doing a good job. Whom could do better?
He's doing a terrible job. Mitt Romney would be doing much better these days. I guarantee you if Mitt Romney would have got elected 2 years ago, things would be much better right now. They would. Things would be different overseas, and things would be different economically.
Would ISIS still be around? Yes.
Not as much.
All right. Anyway, thanks, everybody, for listening. You've been listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Clarita's hometown station. We will be back next week with a brand new show and hopefully no
Wolfman Jack
impersonations.
See ya.
Have a great weekend.